All right. Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Can you all hear me, see me? Do I live within your pixelated space? There's one person in here, hopefully. Wait. Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. We exist. We exist. It's working. Thank you all for joining in. This is the Can't Burn Memories special. Today, I want you guys just to stop on by, vent, share about your past, anything that you all may be going through. Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness! Wait. Hear me, see me? Wait. Hold on. Do I live within your pixel? Okay. Wait. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna leave a link here so that you all can actually come into the chat and speak if you guys really feel like speaking. If not, you don't have to. You can just stop on by, write your comments down below. Let me just try and get this situated real quick. Live chat, yes. Okay. And then let me get the Discord link for you guys. Hopefully you guys are starting the new year off correctly. This is 2026, man. Hopefully you guys haven't ruined 2026 already. We're only a few days in. But this special that we're doing right now is to commemorate the Can't Burn Memories album that is dropping with myself and a collaborator slash friend, Raised God. Hopefully you guys are prepared for some new music, and I can't wait to share that with you all. All right, hold on. Let me just make sure that create one. Okay. So let me put this here real quick. Through Discord. Okay. And I'll pin this comment. All right. So we got 3 lovely individuals in here. If you see there is a pinned comment, that is the Discord server where you guys can come in and chat if you all please. Now, I get it that not everybody wants to chat. You know, some people are a little bit shy. Your camera, your face will not appear, but your audio will. If you guys can just drop in the comments, you guys hear me okay? Everything all right? That would be very much appreciated. So, guys, the main part about this stream is to stop in, have a safe space where you can just vent, share about your past, anything really. Not just the bad memories, but also some good ones, you know? It's to commemorate this Can't Burn Memories album that I did alongside my friend, collaborator, Raise God. And if we think about Can't Burn Memories, you know, there are certain memories that are harder to burn than others. I think this because whether they're traumatizing or whether they're so beautiful that they stick around with you till the end of time, whichever that may be, it's nice to go back and just think about them for a second. Hopefully not too long to the point where it just completely consumes your present, but still worthy enough to, give some time to them, and think about them. And that's what this album is really about. We got 4 lovely individuals in here. Please let us know where you guys are from. Would love to just know. It's always nice to know your audience, know the people who are stopping in and listening. So stop on by, say where you guys are from, say what you guys have planned for the new year, 2026. Oh, shoot. We got Minimum Wade here, who is also on the album, actually. What's up, brother? Hope you're doing good. Excited to listen to the album. I am excited for you to listen to the album, Minimum. And hopefully we'll be making some more music in 2026, and you'll stop deleting all your drafts so that we can keep on making more music, man. So we got some more people in here. Please just leave a comment down below. Let us know where you're from. It's always nice to know, just who's listening in, where you're listening in from. We all are special in this earth of ours that we're just gravitating around, and it's nice just to give a moment and think about you all. Wow, we got 7 people in here. Please let us know where you guys are from. Stop on by, vent, share about your past, share about your life, and this is going to be a nice little community. This is a safe space. We respect one another's thoughts. We respect one another's ambitions. And yeah, it's just, why not stop on by, share, let your voice be heard. Do not let these naysayers silence you in this day and age. Everyone's always trying to silence one another. It's not the time to silence. It's time for you to feel heard. So we got 7 people in here. Let us know where you're from, or just go straight on down to venting, sharing about your past, about your life. Guys, we're living. Is that not a crazy thought? Do you guys not have that revolutionary thought sometimes where it's like, this is your time? This is our time on this earth. What are we going to do with it? Is it just me having this thought? Hopefully not. But yeah, man, I have a Discord link up here where you guys can join on in, and you guys can actually join the live stream via audio, so we can hear you guys, and that would be pretty awesome if someone wants to stop on by. The Discord link is linked above. But if not, if you feel a little bit shy and you just want to type, go ahead and type. We got 6 people in here. Let us know where you're from, guys. What's up? How's life treating you? And yeah, but I guess since some people seem to be a little shy right now, I'll start off. Can't burn memories. When I think about can't burn memories, I think about the more negative memories. If anything, the ones that have left more of a traumatic toll, or kind of like a scar-like effect on my heart. And probably breakups is really up there with the memories that really stick with you. Now, breakups, as scarring as they can be, they can also be quite beautiful in the sense of the things that you learn from these breakups, right? I think about my first relationship and how much I learned from it. To be honest, my first relationship was the thing that catapulted me into who I am today. It really gave me the ambition that I needed to level myself up in life. I could have completely just stayed stagnant as the person I was back in high school. And I think we all have these moments in our lives where we're just like, yeah, we could just stay who we are, or we can evolve. And I remember when my first girlfriend broke up with me, I had this moment almost where everything split in two. I'd been together with this girl for 4 years, and she was my first love. She was my first girlfriend, and I just didn't really know how to cherish her. I never saw a necessarily solid or ideal relationship. So as being a newborn in this life and not really seeing such a good representation of it, I didn't really know how to treat this person. And so I made some mistakes. And at the end of the day, regardless of your upbringing, when you mess up, that lies on you. You can't shift the blame onto somebody else. You can't shift the blame onto your parents. You can't shift the blame onto your friends. You got to take that accountability, and you got to say, hey, this was on me. And so that's what I did. I took that accountability and do the page to start a new chapter. Yeah, exactly, minimum. So what I did is I pretty much took the responsibility and said, okay, man, this is on me. And if I want to better my situation, I need to look within and make some real life serious choices. And so I remember this. This memory is so cemented in my mind. It's never leaving, but it's like my life split in two. And I saw a pathway where from one side, it was still stay the same old me. And to be honest, man, I think I would have been fine if I would have stayed the same old me. I would have found myself another girl. I was younger, still very super athletic, this and that, agile. A girl would have come along. Let's just be real. But the other side of me was, wait a second. Even if I get a new girl, aren't I going to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over and over again? And to be honest, I would have. But in that moment, I wasn't even thinking about another girl. I was thinking about my first girl, and I wanted her back so bad. And as many famous songs go, you don't know what you got till it's gone. And the second I lost this girl, it was like something hit me and I started seeing things more clearly. And almost the fugazi, almost like this false reality just kind of snapped. And I was like, wait a second, damn, this girl was so good to me. She was such a solid individual. And she loved me through some very hard times. I don't know if I would have even loved myself during those hard times. And there this girl was, always there to try and love me. And that's when I was like, okay, I want to win this girl back. But I knew that even if I got this girl back, would I continue being the same person? Absolutely not. If I got another opportunity with this girl, I needed to be something else because I lost her being my old self. That makes sense? So I lost her being my old self. That pretty much indicates that it's not going to work out unless I change. And so that's what I did. I changed myself, and that's when I started. All right. I was 21 years old, and I had this major life change where I said, okay, something needs to change. And my life split in two. I had a choice, and I chose the harder path. I chose the path that not many walk down because it's too hard, because you have to have discipline, right? I don't know how many of you grew up in a Christian household, but one thing is growing up in a Christian household, and the other one is upholding Christian values. But what are Christian values? The only way to know what Christian values are is if you yourself go and search out what those Christian values are. If you think by listening to some pastor, you're going to know how you're supposed to be in this life, you are sadly mistaken, my friend. You must go and seek out that knowledge. You must go and seek out that wisdom. Even in the treacherous wilderness, you must go and seek it out. Because if you do not go seek it out and you just expect some pastor to tell you, you're going to be missing out on a lot of life. You're going to be missing out on a lot of life, and you're going to be making so many mistakes along the way because you only see this pastor once a week, and the chances that he's going to preach about something that is exactly what you need to listen to that day is highly unlikely. Or you can go and Google, or nowadays just ChatGPT and be like, Bible verses about love, Bible verses about character building, Bible verses about patience, looking at the things that I needed to work on, right? So I'll keep this on me. The things that I needed to work on, patience. I needed to understand what love was. How do I understand what love was? Well, I grew up in a Christian household. I wanted to see if the word of God was actually worth my time. And the only way to know if the word of God is actually worth my time is if I give the word of God an actual fair shot. And so that's what I did. I looked at the word of God and I said, okay, is this going to actually help me? Let me look to see what the Bible says about certain particular topics. So I looked at Bible verses about patience. I looked at Bible verses about love. I looked at Bible verses about anger. I found out that, damn, being quick to anger is a foolish thing to do. That's a fool's man's play. Someone who is so quick to react, that's foolish. And I looked at myself and I was being a fool. See, this is the thing. As a man, you need to own up when you're being a fool. You need to own up when you're not at the place that you need to be. That's manly. So what I need to do is I needed to be honest with myself. Damn, I'm flawed in this right now. I need to change this. Then the other thing was, okay, I told this girl I love her, but do I even know what that word is? What does that word represent? When I looked her in the eyes and I told her I love you, what did that mean? Right? What did that mean? And now, by knowing the biblical definition of love, I garnered a definition for it. Now I have something to uphold. So what I said is, okay, love is patient. Okay. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So once I garnered that definition, it's not just about knowing the wisdom. There's a lot of people who can regurgitate this wisdom to you. It's about the application of it. I needed to see if I applied this, where it would take me in my life. The perpetual motion, whether I'm going up to the stars and up to the heavens, or I'm just going to shatter down and become a worse version of myself. I needed to test this out. So all those things that I learned, the patience, the love, the not being anger, I needed to apply these things in my new life and see the type of man it made me. And I will say the one Bible verse that really penetrated my soul first was the one where it says about asking God for wisdom. And no matter where you are in life, he will give it to you. And I remember not feeling worthy of anything from God, because I felt like God had given me a gift in this woman and I had squandered his gift. So I didn't even feel worthy to have her. So what I asked for was wisdom, because he said, no matter where you are, I give you this wisdom. I give you this gift. So then I asked for that wisdom, and lo and behold, it came. It was hard. That first year and a half was the longest year and a half of my life. I was suffering every single day, and people always ask me, why is it that you say you were suffering during the time when you were quote unquote closest to God? You were closest to the divine. The way you were living your life was on the narrow road. Why would God make your life so miserable? And it took me a long time to figure it out, because a year and a half after I started this quest, that's when that sorrow and that anxiousness went away. And I never got that anxiety again. I'll tell you this. I never got that anxiety. My anxiety was so bad that I would feel it inside my stomach. I had never felt that since I was a kid. I never felt that level of anxiety. It was like I could actually feel it manifesting inside my stomach. That's how bad it was. My depression was so bad that when I woke up in the morning, all the way until nighttime, I was depressed. Only I had 5 minutes of relief right before I went to bed. And then that was my reality. For a year and a half, it was like that. And people think I'm exaggerating. It was not exaggerated. I was on edge every single day. But then what happened after that? See, all of a sudden, I kept going on the right path. I kept feeling all this sorrow. I kept asking God why. I didn't give up on God just because I was struggling or just because I wasn't getting the results. I had my faith, or like I like to say, is I was just too stubborn to give up on something. I wanted to give it a fair shot. And to give something a fair shot, you need to give time into it. You can't just leave right away. You have to give time into things, or else it's just pointless. So I gave time into it. I gave solid time. And then a year and a half later, I didn't feel anything anymore. I didn't feel that anxiety anymore. And what I started to understand why God did that was he wanted to know how about him I was. He wanted to see how about him I was. And that's only one memory on this very long quest of not only life, but also a spiritual life. So if you guys are liking this, I can continue it, leave it down in below. Or if you guys want me to heat into a different direction, or even as more beautiful, what I think of an idea would be, you guys start commenting. Let me know what you guys are going through. I would love to just hear you guys out, because I believe that we all deserve a chance to not only be heard, but we are precious people. You know, sometimes we look at these celebrities and these grandiose individuals, you know, massive live streamers or whatever, and we're like, man, we got to listen to your life because my life isn't significant. And I think that's ridiculous. I think each of you guys have a significant life. Each of you really should be your guys' story should be just as much heard, and we should be trying to listen to what you guys have to say, not just simply what we have to say or what all these other people have to say. It's ridiculous. But since I don't see any comments right now, I'll continue on forward, and I'll talk about some other memories that, are very solidified in my mind that help shape me as an individual. I remember still on the first girlfriend's situation, or as some would call it, a fiasco. The first girlfriend situation, it was 3 years in, right? And man, I had just done nothing but try to love this person. I'm talking like I dedicated my life to love this person. I dedicated my life to become a better individual for this person. And it wasn't like I was trying to become a better person for some other girl in my future. No, I felt like this girl deserved me at my best because she withheld me at my worst. Clip that. And what I ended up doing was I pretty much had to just keep working on myself, keep reading scripture, keep assessing myself, looking into my past, looking into my bad habits, and chiseling them day by day to get myself to the level. But I wasn't doing it alone. See, I had God by my side, disciplining me, right? God's discipline is a form of love. And that love was something that I didn't realize just how strong it was going to be, in a kind of harsh sense, but in a way for that I would remember it for the rest of my life. So as hard and as strong as it was, it's something that I needed at that time. The same way that a father or a mother discipline their child, that's out of love. This is where people mistake things. Discipline is love. So my life started to get disciplined. I started to go through a lot of trials and tribulations. I had to also spend a lot of time not focusing on myself, but focusing on people, right? Because the Bible tells us to be selfless. It tells us to be selfless, right? Listen to this, check this out. What does the Satanic Bible say to be? It says, do what thou wilt. That's kind of the motto of the Satanism that at least people have informed me about. Do what thou wilt. That's thinking about yourself. That's being selfish. But when you think about selflessness, what the Bible tries to uphold, that's thinking about others above yourself. You see how it's almost the complete opposite? But in this day and age, what's getting pushed more? Selfishness is getting pushed more. Think about yourself. If you're good, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Think about yourself, king, queen. How many times have you guys heard that? Hey guys, real quick, no. Anyways, well, our collaborator right there. Oh no, sorry, too late. That's Raise God right there. Getting ready to stream our album after this. But sorry, train of thought, guys. So, like I said, is that I had to become more selfless. I had to consider other people, not just myself. And to unlearn things that you've been so exposed to can be very difficult to do. But that's what I needed to do to become a better individual. So I spent a lot of time ministering to people. I founded a society called the Best Husband and Father Society. Shouts out all my members out there in the world, killing it. We got doctors in our society. We got potential doctors in our society. We got businessmen in our society. We got entrepreneurs in our society. We got dreamers in our society. We got successors in our society. We got future kings in our society, I'm sure. As the time goes on, it shall be known. But like I said, is there fulfilling is looking back and having someone message me and be like, dude, let me tell you, man. Dude, let me tell you, man. The conversation that we had saved my life. When I was in college, I had two, not one, but two people come up to me right before they were contemplating suicide. Two, and that not only was, first of all, it was like, whoa, I can't believe that you come to me in a moment of your most devastating thought processes. But the fact that, you can confide in me enough, and not only that, it prepared me for the future. Because this is the thing, is what we don't see is we're too busy looking at the present, and we're not seeing what the future holds. The future cannot be known, but what can be known is what's happening in front of us. So at that moment when I was helping out these two people who were on the brink of suicide, what I didn't realize was happening there, it was preparing me for one of my girlfriends who did actually go all the way to try and commit suicide. It prepared me to deal with something as extreme as mental illness and depression and all those things can be on a person, right? And that was the preparation. It was almost like God was teaching me, and these situations were my teacher, and I was the student. And I didn't realize at that time I already felt like the teacher, but in reality I was just a student to my future. And then I was able to realize this as years went on. But in that moment, I was just thinking about, I'm just going to grow as much as possible to get this girl back. Hopping back onto the story, what ended up happening was 3 years in of giving everything. I mean, I gave everything of myself to this person. Anytime that they needed me, I would have been there. And I wasn't even playing no games. I was playing no games, no contact coaches on YouTube. I wasn't looking up any of that stuff. Anytime that she wanted me, I was like, oh, I still love you so much. I was being honest, whether that was smart or whether I was showing all my cards, as people will say. I feel like, yeah, I could have handled it. I could have played more games, but at the end of the day, I showed her my truth. And that girl chose a completely different path. But in those 3 years, I gave everything I could. And what ended up happening was, after those 3 years passed, there was a situation that happened where she was pretty much like, I never want to be with you ever again. You're like the worst. You're this, you're that. All these negative words said to me after I had done nothing but love and try to grow to be a better individual. Written over 200,000 words dedicated to this person. Almost half of those being completely anonymous in some old how should I say it? Some old Tumblr profile that I had created, never to be seen in the light of day, but only as a sign of preparation to when she came back, she would be greeted with the truth of my love. And what happened? She said all these negative things. Oh, you're the worst. I'm never coming back with you, this and that. Completely burning the bridge of anything ever happening between us. And at that moment, I broke. Because I had this I thought I had this contract almost with God. I said, God, I will be there for you. I will be a servant to you. But give me this one thing I ask. I only ask for one thing. Just give me this person. And I never got her back. But in that moment when I didn't get what I wanted, there was another test there. See, I wasn't realizing. God wanted to know, oh, so you are going to love me because of me? Or you're going to love me only if I give you what you really want? Now, God had been good to me. I had gained wisdom. I had gained the ability to be a leader in my community. I had gained, certain things that some people never experience in their lifetime. Life was good in that degree. But the one thing I wanted, I really, really wanted, I never got it. And that was a moment. That was a test between God and I. He wanted to see whether or not I was really about him, or I was only with him because of the things he gave me. Right? And so that was a staple moment in my life. But I'll be honest with the story. I was like very disconnected for months. Like I think it was like 3 months where I was just so hurt by the fact that I never got this back. But that's the thing. That memory solidified in my mind. But at the end of the day, that was a lesson that solidified in my mind. From something that at one point looked bad, later on looked good. And then now, as I'm older and as I've not put in these types of crazy situations anymore, part of me misses when I was in that struggle. Part of me misses when I was in that winter, because I was learning and growing and callousizing my hands and my character with everything that I was doing constantly. That's how I progressed as a man. So I see we got some people in here. We got 5 beautiful, lovely individuals from all over the world, I'm sure. Let us know where you're from. Let us know what you're enjoying about this. You know, I would love to hear. But until then, I guess I'll continue. So yeah, it was so many things that I was learning and I was growing, and that was a memory that I'll never forget. And at the end, her and I, we never really had that, how you would say, kind of closure situation where we talk things out, this and that. But she moved on in her life, and I moved on in mine. And the thing is, there was this one moment that we did meet up, and I just remember looking at her and realizing that for all those years, I had done nothing but see her in such a lovely way, and she had done nothing, or I don't know, it just seemed like she had spent a lot of her time thinking about me in a negative way. And I could see it because the anger and it was just as fresh as it was almost when we first broke up. And honestly, it made me sad that she had lived with that bitterness. And when the Lord tells us to forgive one another, we think it's for the other person. And to a degree it is. But it's very much for you. Because if you carry around that burden becomes an idol. It becomes something that you bow down to each and every day. If anything, you're more connected to that negativity than ever before. And it felt the way that she reacted to me towards the times that we were engaged in conversation. It seemed like she had been carrying around that for a long time. And it was something that she didn't get over. I don't know about now. It's been many years now. But the time that I saw her, it didn't seem like she really got over it. And that's a sad reality that certain people go through. And sadly, that interaction was also kind of burned in my mind. And I felt bad because she had been carrying that burden for so long. It was honestly really sad. But at the end of the day, it was kind of the reality of our actions. Like losing someone like that is a reality of my actions as a man. Even though I was a young man, it was still something that I had to live with. And that's the truth, is that we all have actions that we do each and every day, and we had to live with those actions for the rest of our lives. Whether those are good things, bad things, it doesn't matter. We got to live with the actions. Now, that doesn't mean forever hold them in and whatever. No, I'm not saying that. It's just actions have consequences, ladies and gentlemen. Actions have consequences. It's a very cliche saying, but it's cliche because it's true. Actions have consequences. And I had to deal with my consequences. And as a man, and I'm proud of this, is I dealt with my consequences. And I learned from my consequences so that I wouldn't repeat those similar mistakes throughout my life. Now, does that mean that for the rest of my life I was completely perfect in all my relationships? No. And my second girlfriend can vouch for that, very much so. But that was a way, 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 way better person than I was in my first relationship. That's the truth. But of course, man, there's always things that we mess up on. We gotta give grace. We gotta understand that it's our first time around this earth. It's our first time around the globe, as people say, and we have to we have to remember that being our first time around this globe, we got to be considerate of the fact that, hey man, not everybody is going to figure it out right away. um but yeah, that's the truth. So I'd love to hear in from you guys. We got 5 people here right now. 5 people, guys, that's awesome. It's like a little community. So drop a comment, let us know where you're from. That would be very much appreciated. Let us know, man, if you guys want to vent about something, share something. We've had some really good conversations in the past. People going through some tough situations, and it was nice just to have a good old community here, discussing some of your matters and not just discussing my matters. But it seems like right now everyone's maybe a little shy. That's okay. We'll continue onward. Some other memories. So those, I would say, that memory kind of holds to itself. But what are some other ones, man? I mean, I've had some good ones, some funny ones. The one time when I went to Guatemala, and I was with my friend Gio, and we climbed up a volcano, truth be told, and there was such massive amounts of wind where I felt like it was going to sweep us away. And when you would extend your hands and you would jump, you could jump up and it would still push you back a little bit. So that's how heavy the winds were during that time. And it was a pretty wild experience. And then on the way up the next day, everyone wanted to sleep in, but I said, no, no, no. I'm going to go to the top of this volcano and I want to get the best view of this thing. So I went all the way at the top. And even though I was completely exhausted from the days before, and on my way down, I got some of the worst sickness. I don't even know what the heck happened. I don't know what was it, if it was like altitude sickness. I don't know what it was, but it was pretty damn bad. I think I was like 11,000 feet in the air. I'm not really sure, but it was a very high up volcano called El Fuego in Guatemala, and it was massive. But at the end of the day, when we went back down, it was just this sickness just took over me. Then there's the story right before that when we were in Belize, and just to get into that country, we crossed through the Mexican border. And while we were crossing through the Mexican border, it was pretty pricey, let's just say that. And they were kind of scammers. I'll be honest, they're scammers. Scammers. Sorry, but that's the truth. And trust me, I love my Belizean brother and sister. One of my college roommates, he was from Belize. I love that guy. He's a freaking solid individual. So this is not a target on all Belizean people, but in that situation, they made me put my address in, everything, and then they had a taxi who was going to take me there, and whatever address I put there, they needed to drive me to that particular place, but they didn't explain the fact that I was going to have to pay for this. And it was pretty intense, let's just say that. It was like $200 USD, which over there they're making quite a good living off of. And my friend and I were just starting off our travels, and we were spending almost like $300 just to take a taxi that we didn't even need to. I was in the back of this taxi that didn't even have a proper seatbelts, a window, and I was paying them as if I was driving in a limo, right? It was ridiculous. But the fact that it was the government that was making me do that, and we were kind of against our ropes because we were at the Mexican border. We had just been dropped off by a bus. There was no going back. There was no flying in. And they know this. So they know that you're stuck there. It's either you stay here or you rent a car in Mexico and drive it over to Belize and then drive it back. I mean, No way that was going to happen. But anyways, we went into Belize, spent a lot of money. That was kind of a bittersweet memory. But once we were in Belize, I got my scuba diving license with my friend Gio, and it was a nice moment. But at the end of the day, guys, it's just talking about all these different types of memories. Ooh, it's just realizing, man, that this is life. It's happening right now. You know, what are we gonna go back and think about? Like, let's just say I would have never worked on myself. I would have never had those memories. Some memories that I hold on to and I cherish. They were kind of furnished in the fire. It was furnished in a place of hardship. Or if I think about it, what about if I would have never went on that trip? I would have never had these moments with my friend Gio. If I would have never, given love another chance, then I would have never had the beautiful moments that I had with my second girlfriend. And sometimes we got to look at things like that. Like, dude, what am I doing with my life right now? Am I just going to allow this life to just pass me by? Or am I going to do something about it? Right? And we got to ask ourselves, what is it that we're going to do? Yo, have you ever played pickleball? I have. Oh my God, I just saw your comment right now. I have played pickleball, my friend. It's an amazing sport. I've had such a great time. Ironically enough, with the person I'm talking to about in the story, his name's Gio. He was my pickleball partner, and we freaking murked people at the park. I'm talking like they left, they were crying on the way home, contemplating life decisions of what brought them up to that point because we just destroyed them so bad. No, I'm just kidding. We weren't that great, but we were pretty solid, man. Honestly, I had played a lot of tennis in my life, so I was good at pickleball right off the bat. But yeah, it's a completely different game, more fast paced. Gotta be more aggressive. Tennis can sometimes be a over long lasting sport. I'm dumb. Just on a different. Oh, who's this Dylan guy? Not really sure. But anyways, Dylan, I appreciate that you're here, my friend. So, anyways, going back to my train of thought. This is happening, guys, right now. This is life. This is it. What are we doing with our lives? I'm going to be my first time ever today. I just got my paddle, but no experience. Okay. By the way, Dylan? Dylan. Oh, my God. Dylan. Sorry, it caught me off guard because of the fact that the guy I'm making the collab album with, his name is Dylan as well. But now I know which Dylan you are, bro. You're the one who always comes in on the live streams. Okay, so let me give you some advice, my friend. So pickleball, right? This is what I learned from my friend Gio and a couple others that I saw who actually play like every single day. So you know what the kitchen is? So the kitchen is, so there's a net here. All right. The net's here. Then there's two boxes. Each person has a kitchen. Here there's a kitchen. Here there's a kitchen. In there, you can't walk into the kitchen. No, you can't spike the ball when you're in the kitchen. No, you gotta do all the play outside of the kitchen. If you go into the kitchen, then that counts for the other player, right? You're aware of that, Dylan, to a certain degree. I'm guessing that you've played a little bit. So you'll understand that in the kitchen, you can't stay, right? So you gotta play outside. Now, when you first start, right, you serve it in underhand. You can't overhand. So underhand. So get good at your underhands. There's a way to do some top spin. And so maybe you want to lurk up some tutorials, but I had some people underhanding it like crazy and it was coming in like a bullet. So underhand, find your rhythm. I personally just put it in play because I have like good I don't know. I can keep it playing and I just wait for them to make a mistake. So I've literally never played before, but yes, I know the rules and I've watched. Okay, good. So you've never played before. That's okay. So I'll just tell you what I know. So underhand, make sure you get good at your underhand. If you've never played tennis before, this might be a little bit more difficult because you have to learn kind of how to hold the racket and everything, but it's just like tennis. The way you hold it, this way, pa pa. Make sure that. Let me see if I can get up real quick. But so if you're playing, you gotta be in a stance like this, right? You gotta be like pa pa pa. If you are straight, that's terrible. You can't play like that. You gotta play knees bent. You gotta be agile, ready to hit it. Pop, pop. Because when you're like this, you can go over to the left or you can go over to the right quickly. Okay? So make sure you got a good stance. Make sure knees bent. Make sure you're ready. Be in an attack position. When the person is serving at you, don't be very up you have to be back, because there's a high chance that you're going to be playing some good people and their serves are going to be all the way in the back. They're not going to be in the front. So for you to be sure that you can hit it, make sure you step back as kind of like behind the line is where I like to do it, in the service line, behind the line. Get ready to hit it. Get ready to run up, hit it. That's going to make your life a whole lot easier when it comes to returning. So then let me describe to you the most important lesson, and possibly maybe the last lesson. What about dinks and third shot drops? Okay, so I don't know what third drops are, but I do know what dinks are. But that's where I was about to go to. So when it comes to being in the kitchen, right? Remember, you can't be in the kitchen. But after the second return, you got to go on the offensive, right? This is the part that's different about tennis to pickleball. You have to go on the offensive. So what my partner and we were doing is, one of us was rushing up or both of us were rushing up. But even if you play solo, if that person is rushing up on you, you're just going to be playing a defensive game the entire match, because he's going to be up there spiking it down on you or dinking it at you, and then you're going to have to run up regardless. So what I do is, once I play on the second hand, I just rush up. You also got to be smart. Like if he did like a really bad if he did a really bad return, that's a perfect time for you to hit it pretty good. Like get like a solid, strong send off, and then you rush up, because now you have all the power. You can be in the middle and then have all the power from there. Because let's just say you did a really good hit back, then he's probably not gonna be able to do a good return. So he's gonna go pop, and it's gonna go up, and then guess what you're gonna do? Boom! But you can't be right in the kitchen. It's not like volleyball or like tennis where you could be right up there and just smack it down. You can't do that. The kitchen kind of protects that from happening. But what you can do is still be right on the edge of the kitchen, wait for that thing to go up, boom, down, or just angle it. Everything is about angles. Like, pickleball is a mind game. If they're over here, what do? You hit it on the other side. You got to work with the angles, right? Boom, over there, boom. It's all just about outsmarting your plays. Should I look at my notes while I'm on the court? Yeah. How about you just study the notes beforehand, and then? But I'm pretty sure that people will think that's normal if you're just looking at your notes. Maybe they'd think that you're just writing their name in the death note or something, and that would strike more fear into your opponents. But but yeah, Dylan, that's what I would say, brother, for pickleball. Like I say, man, I am no expert. There's, I'm sure, a lot of YouTube videos. It is a massive sport. I do recommend that you get into it, but I recommend that other people get into it, because if you want to get to know people and to, it's kind of becoming, now this might be ahead of its time, but it's kind of becoming the golf of our generation, because golf is one of those sports that you play when you're older. You're kind of like, all right, let's go play some golf, and it's like a social interaction type thing. Now, golf has its place, but what I've realized is, in pickleball, everyone's playing, from all ages, old, young. It's just global, and it's a good place for, if you doing some business, or if you just want to meet some new people, go to the pickleball court and be like, hey man, where are you from? Blah, blah, whatever. And Dylan, like this is the way that you get to know people. This is the way that you work on these skills that we were talking about before. Do you want to be more social? Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Put yourself in situations where you're meeting new people, right? That's how you progress as an individual. So, yeah, man, play pickleball, all the other people in the chat, play different sports, find out what these people are doing. But Dylan, one thing I wanted to tell you is after this, we're gonna be going over to Ray's God's channel. I should probably put it there and then we're gonna be watching the how do I say it? One sec. Let me get the video here real quick, Dylan. Just give me a quick second. Okay. So there's gonna be a premiere for this album, and it would be awesome if you checked it out. I don't know if you'll still be around. Yeah, I need to socialize more. That's why I'm doing this. But I also don't want to be trash, new kid on the court. Well, Dylan, let me tell you something. I know that you may not want to be that, but to be honest, that can kind of work in your favor at times because people love teaching. People love kind of like, oh, I'm going to help this person out, you know, whatever. Like they'll help you out. Like it's a pretty social sport. The times that I've played, I never had a hard time finding a game. I was always cracking jokes with people on the other side, and they were just having a blast. And people don't take themselves too seriously unless you're on some tournament or something like that. Let me see. For golf, I do have golf simulator nearby I can use for free, but I've literally never tried golf both either. Have you? So, Dylan, I have tried golf, but I've never gone out and done, for example, like 9 holes or 10 holes or whatever, on a full on golf course with my golf cart. I felt like the day I do that, there's going to be a part of me that has in the past, like it's just too far in the past. For now, I like doing more athletic things. Like I still like playing tennis. I still like doing pickleball. I like working out. I feel like golf is definitely a sport for once you've hit a particular age because you're scared of injuries. But regardless, yeah, I do believe it is smart, especially if you're in business, to do something like golf. What is it that you're trying to do in your life, Dylan? Is there something in particular? And yeah, let me tell you, man. When it comes to like what we were saying, when it comes to pickleball and stuff, just get ready, man, to go out and have fun too, and just be social, man. Just start up a conversation. You'd be surprised just how many people are so ready to talk, to be honest. And when you got good presence and you ask good questions and you make them feel special instead of always trying to get them to talk about you, you're always gonna have friends, man. You're always gonna have people who want to conversate with you. That's a big, massive tip I've learned throughout my life. But yeah, Dylan, we got 5 more minutes, my friend, and then we're gonna head over to the link that I shared, the YouTube link that I just shared here. I'll pin it in the comments, and then that's going to be where we'll be for the next hour. And I may come back on stream, depending. We'll see. What? 1 milli? Dude, congratulations, my friend. My goodness gracious. Damn. Dude, that's freaking amazing, bro. It's nice to know that someone who comes in on my streams, man, has been so financially successful. If I'm being honest with you, Dylan, that's one thing that I struggle very much with. In 2026, man, I really wanted to work on my financial repertoire. But I've always struggled with that avenue of things. I feel like with me, it's always like, for example, I've felt like I could have done things like counseling in my life or whatever, but there was always something weird about asking people for money. You know, like, hey man, I'll help you out and I'll listen to your problems. Like, you're my friend, but I'm gonna have to charge you for it, like $50 an hour. You know, and I know a lot of people do that so nonchalantly, like, yeah, it's your time. You should charge what you believe you're worth. But there's also a part of me where it's like, that's kind of my ministry too, is to talk to people and whatever they may be going through. You know, I just do it for free. And I did it for free a lot, even though people kept on wanting to come back and this and that. I was just like, all right, man, you want me to help you out? Yeah, I got some free time after work or after my lunch. But damn, dude, it would be great to it would be great to be able to maybe learn some tricks of the trade, man. Maybe we got to have you on stream, Dylan. Would you ever be interested in joining the Discord live and joining the live and maybe just giving us I don't know, man, some perspective into the life of someone who's in tech, someone who's worked on themselves to the point where they were able to, you know, garner some number that most people never even see in their lifetime. You know, that's pretty impressive, bro. And I would genuinely be interested to hear, you know. So yeah, if that's something you would like to do sometime, Dylan, that would be very much appreciated. But just so you know that, I mean, right now we're gonna have to end the stream in about 2 minutes. Hopefully we'll see you over there, Dylan. Check out the album Can't Burn Memories, man. I worked very, very hard on this. Took 2 trips to Australia. Lots of backs and forths. You know, go in, click that link that I have pinned up above. Join me on the YouTube. On the YouTube. Join me over there in the link. And it was a pleasure, man. This was a very nice stream. Honestly, I feel like I would want to go back and just listen to it. I feel like it's nice to go back and reminisce every once in a while. But Can't Burn Memories album out now, all over the place, except for YouTube. For some reason, my distribution was trying to screw me over, but that was just the devil's tactic. It won't stop me. 1 minute away from us getting ready to start on here. www.youtube, you already know it. Can't Burn Memories, link right there, pinned comment. Much love, everybody. Dylan, Minimum Wade, all those other people who joined, who were there. All right, guys, it's starting. I gotta go. Peace.